There's a new tube, and this is the puppy. And I've been recording Jerry Douglas's albums for about a little over 27 years. And I heard this on a dobro. It's nice and smooth, but it would be just as smooth on a vocal. The one thing that you want to keep in mind when you buy a microphone is the parts, what goes into them. All these microphones have top line parts, and there wasn't any nickeling and diming when these microphones were made.
The CV4, which is a tube multi-pattern microphone, and knowing the price range of it, I've got quite a few microphones, and I picked out a microphone, another fairly recent model microphone about the same equivalent price range, and we put them up to shoot out between them. There was no contest. I'm not going to say what the other mic was, but this microphone was in an entirely different league, extremely different league. So then I went to my holy grail of tube microphones, which I've got quite a few favorite mics, old, vintage Telefunkens, bottle mics, big bottle mics, little bottle mics, Neumann's Telefunkens, AKGs, anyways, but this happens to be a Neumann microphone that's not really a Neumann inside. It's a Neumann body, but it was completely stripped down and rebuilt by a guy named Fred Cameron. So it's kind of always been my go-to mic in the studio. I've probably had about 100 different recording artists singing this, and prefer this microphone over anything else. We've shot it out with. We've rented E47s, Elam 251s on demand, and then we end up not using them and go to this Fred Cameron mic. So I played guitar and sang on both of these mics, sang a couple songs. And they were so close to each other, it was unbelievable. I mean, after we recorded on playback and listened to it, it was really hard to tell the difference between them. They're very, very, very similar. So at that point, I put this mic down. I thought, we're going to look a little harder at this microphone. So we put this mic and the C5 up together. And I went back in my isolation room and did some guitar vocals with this on my J45, singing through this microphone. And I have to say, the experience of singing on this microphone, the CV4, and playing my old Gibson on the C5 was very enjoyable. I mean, it's just the experience of actually playing the guitar and hearing the guitar like I know how it really sounds, and hearing my voice like I know how it really sounds, and hearing nuances and details and overtones and artifacts and things in my voice that made me actually enjoy singing more than I have in a long time. One thing about I'd have to say about a great microphone is that it gives you a sense of reality, of that when you're singing you get an emotional response from your playing and from your singing. And it actually makes it really easy to sing. You just don't have to work so hard at it. And the more I sang on this microphone, the more I got comfortable with it and learned how to work around, find the sweet spot on the capsule, and find the sweet spot on the C5 for the guitar. The better it got, and so. I'd have to say, overall, it's my listening experience from recording to coming into the control room and listening over speakers was the same. When I listened to it back over speakers, I was going, wow, that really sounds like me. That sounds like my guitar. That sounds like my voice. These microphones are capturing something that I don't ordinarily ever hear. I mean, I've spent my whole life trying to find microphones that can give me a real interpretation of a great instrument or a great voice. I'm not including myself in that category, but anyways, it's unbelievable. So what I would recommend to people is to try these microphones out and see what your own experience is. And I wish I could make an offer like, if you don't like this microphone, I'll buy it back from you and I'll give you an extra $200, but I can't really afford that. So what I would recommend doing is taking that $200 and going and have your hearing checked, you know. Because if you're not blown away with this microphone, there's something wrong. This is one of the finest microphones, tube condenser mic, multi-pattern, the CV4, that I've ever heard in my lifetime.
Now, I've recorded Dolly Parton for many years and many times, and I've always ended up using an FET. I have an old U87 Neumann I've had for 30 years. I've tried several tube mics past, but since Dolly's vocal is so special, it doesn't really need a lot of extra sound from the microphone. So they really didn't translate the sound of her voice so well. The C4 was immediately different. It worked really well on her voice. It had a lot of bottom and a lot of air you'd expect from a large diaphragm, but the mid-range articulation, it was just really great and sweet sounding. Together with the MicTech MPA 201 mic pre, we captured an amazing track on Dolly.